Hey guys, Ian Wallace here with Chestnut Hill Outdoors, and this morning we're out here in the orchard getting some holes filled in, and we're planting one of our 1 gallon Dunston chestnuts. So we've already prepped the site. I've hoed all the grass and weeds out so that we have just soil, and I've dug a hole about 2 times as wide as the pot and about as deep as the pot. And this is where we're going to start getting this tree in the ground. So I want to get all this soil out here from the nursery. Now as I plant, I want to make sure that the tree is about as deep as the root ball. But as soon as the root ball stops, that's where I want the tree to be above ground. Or even a little bit above the root ball. So I'm going to fill this in, and you can see here that the roots start right at my finger here, and I want to make sure that that is below ground and nothing above that. I don't want any soil above that area. So I'm gonna pot this in here. As I fill the soil in, I'm going to try to make a bit of a reservoir around the edge. This reservoir is going to hold water as I fill it in, and it's going to help the tree to kind of be a little bit elevated and trap some of that moisture. Now step 2 is watering the tree. Step 2 is maybe the most important part of planting, because as I packed in that soil, there's tons of air pockets still around the root ball, and those air pockets are going to root prune, or the roots won't grow into those air pockets. So I need to make sure to pack in as much of that soil as I can to make sure that the roots are able to grow out. And then step 3, we're gonna put the ground mat, the weed cloth over the top, and we'll go from there. So as I water, I like to use just about as much water as I can. I excessively water when I water in a plant. You're not going to hurt the tree by overwatering when you're starting at your planting site. All right, so I've watered in with step 2. I've made sure that I've built up a nice little moat. The water's still going to soak in and get all those air pockets filled in from all that shoveling. So I'm going to move on to step 3, which is just to get that weed mat on, and we'll get the grow tube over that. So the main reason for the weed mat is it's going to protect the tree from competition at the base. Better chance for those young and tender roots to not get overcrowded. And from here, I'm just going to use some of our ground stakes. Make sure that the weed mat is secured nice and tightly. So next we have a grow tube that we're going to put over the top. We recommend putting a grow tube on young seedling trees, our tree man size and our 1 gallon size, 18 to 36 inches or more. We've seen just great success with protection. The trees do a little bit better in the springtime. It protects from small critters like mice getting down and eating at the base of the tree. It acts as a bit of a greenhouse effect. It keeps moisture inside the tree, and it's a great way to just extend a little bit more protection for the tree from weather and small critters. So step 4, we're going to put tree cage around the tree to protect it from wildlife. We really recommend doing a fencing material like this. If you're investing in a large planting, a large orchard, something like deer netting or no protection at all, it can be really risky with such an investment. Deer, bear, hog, all kinds of animals can get in there, and they want those young leaves on a tree, and they'll do just about anything and ruin a whole planting real quick. So So we recommend doing a heavy fencing like this material, 6 foot or so, 5 or 6 foot above the browse line, so that when the tree, you know, starts to get up above, they're not going to be able to eat too much of the limbs. You can also use something like a deer netting or a chicken wire if you think that the deer pressure isn't too bad in your area. We actually do that here on the farm in Gainesville, Florida, because our deer are much smaller than the deer are up north. But we really recommend this heavy fencing material for planting. So lastly, we're going to put a bucket. I have a very small hole pricked in the bottom of this. It's going to act as a light irrigation drip system, a little bit of a cistern, and hopefully it'll catch as much water as possible. With the size hole that I've poked in it, it's going to get clogged up with mold and leaf and dirt, so I'll need to come back and check on I'll need to check on that hole as you know, as it sits for a while. Now this system here is just a supplemental water. I have this here just in case to add a little bit if I don't get to it, but it's not a replacement for a full watering plan. You know, the beginning of a tree's life is the most important time to receive water. Watering is the most important part of a tree planting, and you need to continue to water through the first year or two until the tree is fully established.